Forensic scientists examine and analyze evidence from crime scenes and elsewhere. The evidence captured is further used to develop objective findings that can assist in the investigation and prosecution of perpetrators of crime or absolve an innocent person of suspicion. Thus, forensic science is a critical element of the criminal justice system. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and in particular, the Forensic Department, has had major successes in solving crimes in recent years. Latoya Lake-Marshall, director of the Forensic Department, is here on Good Morning SKN. Yes, she is here. Tell us more about this. Welcome, Ms. Lake-Marshall, to Good Morning SKN.
Wow, thank you. Before I start and go into the magics of forensics, I'd like to take the opportunity on behalf of the Commissioner of Police and the rank and file of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. I'd like to thank you for having me so that I can share with the public some of my work and the magics of forensics. I would also like to thank my superior, ACP Mitchell and Crime Directorate, because I fall under the Crime Directorate field. We've worked really hard in getting these results. So I'd like to thank them and the investigators, because without them, I wouldn't be also. So I'd like to thank them, and now I'm all yours.
Well, and you actually hit my first question, because we're speaking to the investigators, we're speaking to getting the evidence to you so that you can do what you do. And for the benefit of our viewers, can you explain a little bit what it is that you do?
Sure. Well, basically, I am a forensic crime scene expert, a criminologist, and now forensic director for your forensic department. I have a very big role. I am in charge of about 14 responding technicians. We are separated within about 3 different jurisdictions. So we have CSI Bastyr, we have CSI Nevis, and we also have the Tabernacle Lab. That is where the magic happens. Okay, so my role basically as director, I lead from the front. So I am responsible for providing my technicians with the necessary consumables and equipment to work. I also analyze and guide the process. Once we're investigating, I oversee. I also research all cases, and I ensure that once I put these researches together and we do these responses, I see what can apply where and how we can work. I also liaise with international labs overseas and experts, whereas, you know, we don't do DNA testing here as yet. We only extract. So Cellmark in the UK, I liaise with them and tell them what we're looking for. Also, I would give expert testimony in court where needed. And I also train and assist and provide training for the technicians. So basically, I'm an all-rounder. I also advise investigators on the approach with their cases. I just want to say, forensically, we're basically a neutral department. When I say neutral, and I'll explain to the public, my job is not just to lock someone up. An investigator, and I'm saying lock someone up, I'm saying it in the Caribbean layman terms, so you could understand. Investigators, their job is to see that crime, to see that someone is actually put away if they want to get a conviction. Us, my job is to tell you if this is the person, biologically or scientifically, to say, well, okay, this is your guy, or this is not your guy. So that is what I mean when I say we're basically neutral. We're not just there to hit you. We can let you go, or we can hold you forensically. So I have a big responsibility. I have a passion for what I do. And in this field, you must have a passion for it. If it's just about the paycheck, this job is not for you. Forensics is not for you, because you have to have a passion to know how to apply your techniques You have to have a passion to think like a criminal sometimes, but not in a bad way, to know how they would operate. And also, you have to have a passion for the sciences and how you're going to apply it to get results. You have to have patience, and you must be persistent. I also have a passion for victims. I also have a passion for those who are in trouble. I have impacted many lives through my job, both in Antigua and here. There are even persons who have put away, who have now come out into society. And they thank me for actually changing their lives. As director, I'm very honest. I pretty much will tell you, look, this is what happened, and this is how we caught you. This is the results for your actions. Science is positive. Yes, we do have negative in times, because you can have negative results where, and there are cases where science just does not apply. You would have to rely on direct or circumstantial evidence to get through a case. But all in all, it's magnificent, and the courts rely on us to strengthen the cases. So I think I gave you a mouthful there.
You did. So I know that forensics, it is becoming quite advanced. So can you elaborate on some of the machines that are in your department? Sorry.
Sure. Well, I'm very excited because I'm making some major changes now. St. Kitts and Nevis has motivated me to a maximum where I intend to put a different spin on forensics within the Caribbean. I'm an advocate for Caribbean power. I do believe that America has many states and they are powerful, and we have many different islands and we can be just as powerful. So right now I'm pushing really hard with my technicians. We're going into different jurisdictions. Training is of utmost importance, and science, technology changes by the minute. So we always have to research and we have to be up on our game. So some of the avenues that I am pushing for right now is that we're going to go into forensic anthropology. That is the study of bones, where if we respond to a scene and we find bones, we would have technicians that can analyze and say whether it's male, female, you know, animal versus human, etc. We're going to try. There's some technicians who are interested in forensic pathology, which is we need a forensic pathologist. There's a difference between a regular pathologist and a forensic pathologist. So we're pushing that we can go into that. Also, we're going to be going into the mechanics of underwater drones. So if we have drowning and so on, I want to equip my staff that we can send divers exactly where we want them to go to recover bodies or anything that would have evidential value to us. Also, I'm going to be taking our lab now into DNA testing.
Now we're going to learn how she got involved in the field. So we see you have over 20 years in this field. Can you tell us how you got involved?
Sure. Well, actually, I've been through many jobs. I was a flight attendant for 2 years with Liat. I worked in hotels and so on. And the last job I did was a flight attendant, and I needed something more. So I left. My parents actually wanted me to do law. So I left from Antigua and I journeyed to New York. They actually wanted me to go to London, England, but I went against my parents when I went to New York. So I had to make sure that I became something. So I graduated from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Prior to that, I had an African American Studies professor, and he did some research on the Caribbean. And he said to me that we have an influx of lawyers and I would have to piggyback on their successes. So he introduced me to crime scene investigations. He said, take this course and I want you to feel your way. And the rest was history. I fell so much in love with it, and I returned home. I was the only one in Antigua doing that. And I pushed really hard. And one thing I must say, I am coming from a jurisdiction where we had minimal resources. Myself and an inspector, we started the first CSI unit in Antigua. And we used to go to the local shops and get brown paper bags. We devised our own kits and so on from the hospital. They will give us our little alcohol and stuff. And we practiced. I shared as a young rookie with him as a police officer, and he shared his police work with me. So we worked together, and I extracted quite a bit. And for over 18 years, the only problem is that we weren't getting to send things overseas as much for testing, and that was really frustrating at the point. But the passion, we had to keep going. And I've been in Antigua for over 18 years working in that field, training other young persons to take over. And I met one of your officers because he saw my work in Antigua. And when St. Kitts and Nevis needed a director, especially in the peak of the criminal activity and so on, he asked if I could come and assist. At that time, I was reluctant because my mom had suffered a stroke, and I'm the only child for both parents. So my mom told me, no, go, this is your calling, you must help. So I came and I hit the ground running. So I've been here for 3 years, 3 successful years. When I came here, the first thing that your Honorable Prime Minister said to me was, results, I need results for my country. And that impacted me. And here I am. So additionally, that's 20 years of work. I've been very active in major cases. We had a major case in Antigua, the Milani's murder. That was one that we extracted very well for Scotland Yard. In that case, you could do a research on that. That's the honeymooning couple murder in Antigua. So myself and Mr. Inspector Joseph, he's retired now, we started the groundwork for that and many other cases. And I made my mistakes, but not mistakes in a negative way to affect cases, but you learn as you go. And I'm still learning. And I want to motivate a lot of other young people to come into this field and always strive to be first in whatever you do. So I was the first in Antigua, first criminologist, first forensic expert, and just have a passion for whatever you do.